Going live. Yay. Yep.
In
A whole bunch of technical advances and things. So that's kind of cool. I'm not going to be in quite yet because I'm still juggling
no
my
worries. No.
computer.
And Shattered's here, but I have not heard a peep. So
Okay, excuse me.
and it's nighttime in the server at the moment.
Well, I'm sure that's fine. I am in too.
Hello,
And
friend.
I can go to bed, and it doesn't have to be nighttime if we don't want to.
Either way, I'm fine.
Well, I'll probably get bugged by critters, so I would suggest sleeping. We might as well pass the night.
Sleepy. In,
Ta-da.
out. Boom. 30 seconds. Go ahead and wrap. So I'm recording this time.
Woot. I'm trying a number of interesting new things, and one of them is a alternate way of encoding. Back in the day, I did experiments on the Minecraft and OBS and all that kind of stuff to see what kind of encoders would work, because you can use the software one and actually make it work very nicely. But then there is also a Apple hardware one that's built into newer computers, like the Mac Mini that I've got. But I heard it did not work. And so I made test recordings with it. And I tried to play the test recordings on VLC. And sure enough, it was all messed up. So I went, oh no, well, I guess I'm just going to have to beat my CPU into the ground. So oh look, I didn't remember I had made that. So I'm all like, okay. And only to experiment later and find out that when you send it to YouTube, YouTube is fine with it.
Ah. Does that mean you have to edit it in YouTube, or?
I basically have to not edit it at all.
Ah.
But the thing is, that's something I can actually do. I can... Oh, hey, Gamma is on the live chat. Have a good time. Need to sleep now? Good night. And he watched my car damping video. Yeah. I don't know whether I'll do more vlogging or not. As you might or might not know, I've added a music thing to my week. And actually changed my schedule around quite a bit. So as far as new things happening, it's going to be mostly about doing an ambient music jam. And I'm pretty excited about that, honestly. I feel like it is working well. But as far as vlogging, I am not at all sure about that. Maybe, maybe not. Or more like on an unpredictable and probably not very frequent basis. Might be more of the thing.
As the whim takes you, if it takes you at all.
Or when I feel like I have time and space for it. I should do something about all these chickens. I'm starting to get exponential chickens even though I don't have a chicken reactor. Just because I'm picking up their eggs and throwing them and creating more little chickens. And it's like, that's making a lot of chickens. So yeah, the thing that the changes that have been going on are, among other things. Oh, so much for that little chicken. Poof, it
And
went.
Gamma, if you do have to go, have a good night.
Yeah, good night.
And hello, stream. So I had to put that in there too, because there's a couple people watching right now.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, like a lot of this stuff that I do, it's like, people can watch or not. Although, interestingly, the ambient music thing, I had like 6 likes on it with only 4 viewers, which I don't even know how that happens, but it sounds good. And by the time I was done, it was like, wow, 9 likes. Apparently, it went over really well.
Well, sometimes that can happen because you'll have people coming in and out of watching, and then each one of them comes along and gives you a thumbs up. But if
Either
you're
that
not
or
watching the count go up or down, then
they like had no time to actually listen to anything, but they were like, it's Chris and it's ambient. I don't care what it sounds like. It's good. Now I'm leaving. And so they were like, okay, up thumb, like, and then they didn't actually listen to it. So as far as they know, they have no idea whether it's any good or not.
they trust you.
I guess they do. So part of why that was happening was
Hi, Foco.
a change in my weekly schedule, because folks who know me know that I go to these meetings. Well, I go to the meetings and drive my sponsor to this meeting in Grainfield, so it's like an hour each way for me. But that means an hour of driving with this guy who is very helpful to me. And so that's pretty cool. Well, he ended up getting a new and better job, which is kind of similar to his previous job. And this is cool, but it became a schedule conflict. So he was like, I cannot... Yeah, Gamma posted Russian avant-garde music. I do still have the Impreza. That is surviving just fine. The Forester is the one that I no longer have.
They could not handle the Russianness.
So I ended up
for them.
with like one of the meetings that I go to, because I go to this one on Tuesdays, and then I go to one on Thursdays in the middle of the day, and it was always kind of challenging for me because there were some things about it that were not easy. Like, it's a busy nooner meeting. And folks who know meetings know that nooner meetings are the crazy ones. And was very crowded, and it was in this room that was just like cinder block walls and just echoey and loud. And people who go to this meeting were like very like fresh newcomers, and this is a grand thing in some ways, but then when they're still drunk off their ass and showing up to the meeting, it becomes disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was an important thing for me, but it was also sometimes, difficult and exhausting, but I got to have a lot of travel, road trip time, basically, you could call it, with a very close friend. So, turns out my sponsor's not able to go to that meeting anymore. And so he's like, what are we going to do? And he's like, well, firstly, I can go to the Tuesday meeting that I used to go to, because there was an air quality thing. It was a sort of sick building, and he has respiratory issues, and so he ended up not able to stay at that in that room, but they ripped up the carpet, and that was enough of a change that it's like, okay, we'll give this a shot again. also we're moving to a different place that's closer to the center of town. So we'll be able to have like walk-in people who don't have cars, which is a very smart move to be able to support people who don't have cars. Because, people can not have cars and people can have their cars taken away when they do things that involve them losing their license. So there's all kinds of reasons for supporting that for this type of thing.
We lost a shadow.
Oh, did he log off?
Or bumped. One or the other. That's okay.
I hear the sound of a zombie pigman. Well, I am sure he is harmless. He says, like, sneaking about nervously. I hear the zombie pigman, but oh, there he is.
So, Foco, you're in Austria as well. Whoa.
Ah. Neat. At one point, I looked up all of the people who were going to my videos and things. And there are a number of cities where there's lots of Airwindows fans in. So essentially, I am revising my whole schedule for everything, which means not just only going to meetings and stuff, but also streaming and things. Because what it meant, and it is nighttime, so I'm going to sleep. What it meant was these chickens are starting to annoy me. I'm going to let them lay a bunch of eggs and stash them away somewhere, and then go on a chicken slaughtering frenzy. Oh, I have glass. Cool.
The chicken apocalypse.
The chicken apocalypse. I feel like, actually, I don't really need to do that. I just need one egg, and I'll be good enough to go. Because I'm pretty sure I can snowball an egg. Let's test that assumption. Yup. Okay, as long as I have an egg and a snowball, I'm good. So we technically do not need all these chickens. I'm going to go and obliterate all the chickens now. There's some eggs.
You're being stalked, Gamma.
There's a whole bunch of slabs put away. It is time for the chicken apocalypse. I'm not going to get any food out of the little ones. I'll leave them for last. So I've been having somebody constantly asking me, do space ambient, and I'd be doing my, my beat-oriented music, like the stuff where the previous week I had failed to record it. I didn't do that twice. This time I did it properly. So I continued to improve matters and try to do my music better. But this guy, who was either Ahmed or Elohim, was continually asking for space ambient music, or just ambient in general. And I kept not wanting to do it because it would involve me spending an entire week not doing the beat-oriented, tempo-driven music, and I really like that stuff. I'm very interested in it. So it seemed like a no-go, but I realized, well, if I'm revising things, why don't I try to do music? Because I've been doing all of this stuff trying to get that stuff working better. on successive days, meaning I could have the camera and stuff set up for doing a, beg your pardon, sir, there we go. Meaning I could do that sort of thing for posting a plugin. And then I could do the daily the Q&A thing, which is also very important. Oh, Foco, I was talking about all of this, and people kept making suggestions of stuff that I ought to do, and it was so often stuff that I don't really gravitate towards or don't do. I may be able to do a 9-inch nailsy thing. It would probably be a week where I was in a really bad mood. So it's just as well that I'm not in the mood to do that right now, because I'm not in such a bad mood. So it's all good. But hang on, I want to do an experiment. What does the feather do? Seemingly nothing. Nope, that's not nothing. Oh my god. I should do that to the zombie pigman, except for he would come mad at me. The feather does this. Up we go. Maybe killing it, I'm not sure. Nope. It just sent it up, but it does seem to have not survived. No, wait, it survived. So I have tiny chickens around somewhere. Oh no, there it is. It's back. So the new schedule, and I'm not sure how much I've publicized this or anything. I'm not that fast in doing things. I think that this coming week I've got some updates to do on the evergreens and such. Oh, there it is. Goodbye. And there's another one that's going to be around here somewhere. Yep. And I think that is all of the chicken stuff for the moment. Oh. Didn't actually mean to do that. Casing the outside of the place. That's kind of cool.
Game right now.
Hmm?
Emma also asked if you were working on a new game.
This is kind of the same one. This is just, I mean, all the more now that I'm doing a music thing on this day. This is definitely, oh, here. Hello, Mr. Pig. Oh, it's heavier. That pig is going to come back down soon. Okay, this is weird. Games with feathers. I don't think it's supposed to be this aggressive, but it is pretty amusing. That pig knows what it's doing. It's hiding. No more chickens. It might have been a wild chicken. Don't care. No more chickens in this vicinity. No random clucking. Oh, I have a pool. Oh, I have a lava pool. So we call this sauna. Float in the lava for a while and then jump into the actual pool and recover. What could possibly go wrong? So when you say massive attack like mezzanine, what you really mean is trip hop. And what that means to me is down tempo and kind of mellow sounding. So in that light, bits of that are more doable. Actually, mimicking massive attack, not so much. Because that is both difficult and there already is a massive attack. So it is maybe not a great idea to work too hard on mimicking them. So basically, I have a weird new schedule for my life that is heavily sort of front-loaded. The way it works is the beginning of the week is perhaps insanely busy. Oh God! Hi Sam. I would never become a full-time Minecraft streamer. That's like come back when I have 7,000 viewers for this rather than 7. This is not a sensible suggestion. The only reason I'm doing it is because it doesn't matter and I can just not really care how it works.
For fun, not profit.
It's for fun. It's very much not for profit. Oh, look, I've got a little more of that, and it is nighttime. Bye, Focal. Oh, bye, Gamma.
Night.
So on Sunday, I post a plugin, and on Monday, I do a question and answer live stream for as long as I need to. And then other things. By the way, I'm in bed sleeping in Minecraft.
Yeah, I'm running
so
for bed now.
yeah. And Monday sometimes also has other stuff happening. So it becomes kind of take care of stuff. Streams, and we'll stream again and see whether it likes it any better. That looks to be a functional thing, so we'll see whether it started back up again. I don't want to start and stop the stream. Yeah, there's only so much I can do. Yeah, I slowed it down a little bit and I changed the encoder settings very slightly. Rather than having the highest possible graphics quality, I'm giving it slightly less complicated graphics, and maybe that is... Oh, and I have messed up the live chat. Technically, I suppose I could still see it, but let's be responsible and fix it. When I say messed up the live chat, I put the window over so that it occludes the live chat so I can no longer see it, and that seems bad. Let's make it so that I can see what the live chat is. Okay. There we go. And with a bit of luck, I will have optimized this to the point where it's trustworthy. I'm going to also take a moment and do a quick reboot of my audio off at this machine. Like that. And with a bit of luck, things will work. Ooh, back up to 5 peoples. Clearly it broke and is now fixed. But yeah, that was messed up. Yeah, so my weekly schedule is changing. And one of the things I'm not doing is driving an hour to a meeting on Thursday. Which means until I get more of that under my belt, I will actually be running less meetings than I have for quite some time. And that's not great, but I'll just see how it works, I guess. And the other thing is that it means I can readjust some of the stuff I'm committing to. Don't mind me looking for squid ink. I'm pretty sure I have some of that. I have a little bit of that. I could go and get more by hunting for squid. Sometimes I like doing that. So Sunday is plugin posting. And Tuesday is my beat-oriented music jam, because I'm very fond of my beat-oriented music. And wouldn't want to pass that up. And Tuesday is also a meeting that I go to. And then Wednesday is this, but Wednesday is also the ambient music jam. I have really deep water around here. This is kind of cool. So it's a sort of 2-layer affair. And then also, this Wednesday was extra complicated because well, gotta love these fancy. This is entirely thanks to Turner's awesome gear. I am drowning much less slowly, and I can see underwater for a change, so that's very cool. Oh, and Sean, I never told you about the lookup table mess that I dealt with.
No.
This Sunday was redonkulous. Oh no. There we go. Boop. I should really be carrying a door. And I should try to swim up very soon. In fact, I should swim up really, really soon. Nice catch. Or I will come to grief. I'm going to take a little bit of damage, I think. Or not. Hey! Turner's water-breathing helmet for the win. That is awesome. So now I do get to do a ambient music thing, because I'm also going to be oh hey, Foco was commenting on that, yeah. I'll tell you, Foco, downloading the high quality versions of the music streams is too much for almost anybody. Like, I don't even have all of that on my own computer at the moment. I have some of them, but most of them just live in SoundCloud now. Sleeping, passing the night.
Too bad.
Yeah, people were immediately asking, like, "Oh, are you doing ambient music? Cool. Can we sample all of that stuff and use it for things?" And I'm like, why don't you do that on like David Pixley rules, which is basically like he's going to do it anyway, and he doesn't have formal permission to do it. So it's like, yeah, just you know, be a rebel and do stuff anyway, and do not expect me like I'm doing open source music, audio anyway. There is not a lot of reason for me to throw the music in the same category and then have that just be like, up, go ahead. Doesn't matter what happens to any of this because, it kind of does. Why do I hear a chicken? There's a chicken. I've been destroying all chickens. Must destroy the chicken. Flying through the air in search of chicken. Ah. Chicken. Because that's the thing, like the music that I do is a weird kind of genre that I'm kind of trying to invent. So it's not really intended to just be a sample generation system. Oh, no more chicken. Which is not to say people can't do it. It's just like do it on the understanding that you don't actually need my permission if it is just something that you're doing a sort of samizdat pirate radio kind of thing. I'm already doing the plugins, and I hope to share some of this stuff. Like, I have every intention of the samples that I make, which are like those recordings that are my voice. I have every intention of making a sample pack out of those. In fact, I thought I already had, but maybe I didn't distribute it. It's been one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, this is coming, I'll do this. And then I didn't actually get around to doing it. But that was always intended to be a downloadable sample pack. The idea is that it can be used with chord organ, but I can also make the raw files available as well. And it's just lots of Chris talking, but in a reasonably high quality way. Reasonably high quality audio. And to the extent that people like want lots of Chris talking that much, which seems kind of weird to me, but whatever. Now, I was going to work on obliterating this in a different and more interesting way. So maybe what I need to do is find some kind of pickaxe that is a better pickaxe than what I got on me. And by that I mean worse. Like that. A stone pick. And I gotta see whether I can make this go away by stone picking it. Ideally without going through and making the dirt go away, because I'm trying to keep that where it is. But I'd like to make that go away. So let's see whether it works on... It does. Alrighty. Seems to work. And boop. And we fall down. Yeah. So the whole idea of some of these things is be able to do the music making, because I've been talking with a lot of people about stuff about this. Like, I'm doing this music, and I have a pretty much an open invitation to do things like go on the local synthesizer guys show, and I'm dragging my feet because I'm having sort of second thoughts. I have this thing where it's like when I try to do this stuff, I get very frustrated because it feels as if like it's not done. It's not correct yet. And I know that's just sort of my attitude kicking in. But it is still challenging. And I'm trying to not just be like, oh, well, all of this doesn't matter and will never amount to anything, and therefore go ahead and sample it. That's probably all it's ever going to be good for. I'm not fixing to do that. Oh, look, it doesn't make dirt go away. While at the same time, like my reactions to being invited to go on a radio show or to go to, although there's another reason. I'm like last time I went to the second Saturday Synth Fest, I chilled myself to the bone and got real sick. And this is a fine time to be not going out and getting sick. So I'm fixing to stay in a little more at the moment, and I'm fine with that. But under more normal circumstances, I'm getting together the mobile rig to be able to take a synth voice out and like do my thing in a context where people can actually hear it, because the thing is, I'm much happier when people are hearing it than when like nobody's hearing it and it's just like, well, I'm just doing this, I guess. So it's complicated. It's like I'm very demanding about the stuff I'm trying to make happen. And I'm trying to lighten up enough that I can like actively create stuff on a regular basis, which is becoming like these extended format improvisations. I was talking with my sponsor about that, and I'm trying to invent what I'm calling a cyborg music. And he's like, it doesn't really count as a cyborg, does it? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to call it that anyway, so whatever. But sort of trying to get the confidence of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that does have something to do with why I don't really feel like directing everything strictly to let's go and make samples for other people to make music of. Even though I like the idea of that, but I'm trying to get my thing to stand on its own feet, even though it's not in a context. I mean, it kind of is and isn't, like the dance music stuff. It's like a DJ mix, except for that it's a continuous improvisation, sort of like jazz or Grateful Dead or something. It's meant to be this extended thing, but it's also meant to I don't know, man. It's a complicated scenario. So I'm doing I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I can with it. Speaking of doing what I can, I wonder what it would be like if I started. Oh, hello. Okay, I can live with that. I'm going to place a slab floor directly on top of this grass after all the trouble that I went to making it, because the slab floor will not spawn mobs. Maybe it should be wood. I think it should be... Might be nicer. That, or I could get something really funky like nether brick slabs. But if I slab this area up, I can do anything I want in it. Like go and sleep, which is something I need to do now. It is nighttime. It is daytime. Do I have any dirt? Yes, I think I do, but it's not right here. That's enough. Anyway, even if I do not feel ready to go on a radio show and be like, hey, here is my music and here is why you should pay attention to it, blah, 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 blah. I can still be ready to add another day to my schedule of recording stuff. I really should do something about this area. I'm just relentlessly pondering what on earth I'm doing now. Let's see. Well, I've got some planks. Do I have a better kind of wood that I could be using for that? Oh, I know. Even if I'm a little hung up about some of this other stuff, I feel like I can expand out the music jamming, and that has like some purpose to it. Zombie noise. Grumble, grumble. And I can tack that on to Wednesday because I'm already kind of hanging out doing stuff on Wednesday. And the interesting thing about that is that in doing that, it means that my week gets into this on and again, off again kind of vibe. And that I'm doing a plugin posting as I always do, and then the Q&A thing and whatever else goes on Mondays, which some of them are very busy. And Tuesday, going to a meeting and doing a beat-oriented thing. And then on Wednesday, I'm leaving this stuff set up from the Music Jam on Tuesday, but doing ambient, which also means I'm unpatching everything on the synth and repatching it. So I'll be like unpatching and patching constantly, which means I'll get better at that. And that's pretty important. That is part of getting better at doing this and being able to more usefully tell people about what you might be able to do. And then Thursday, there is nothing left. Thursday, I'm no longer going to a meeting. Thursday, and like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, depending upon what's going on, I can basically just switch the heck off, not even know what day it is, and decompress. And I think that might be the thing that I was missing in last December when I tried to take on too much and just got burnt the heck out.
Bella Flipping says hi.
Hi, Bella Flipping. And now I got a bunch of birch planks. Oh, I should also make more ink sacks. Let me do some of those suckers. My level is going up and up. Now my mobs are in purple rather than blue. And yeah, I was joking around about one of the things that was going on today was I had a chimney sweeping. And I asked my chimney sweep, he comes and sweeps the chimney and just like hangs out for an hour talking about music and stuff because he's genuinely fascinated and he's the sweetest guy imaginable. So, it's interesting because he's like, he wants to retire from chimney sweeping, but he doesn't really have it set up for anybody to come and replace him just yet. So it's kind of like he's working on that. But when he comes to sweep my chimney, it's not really very businesslike. He comes in and we're hanging around and just talking, and he's admiring my guitars and stuff because he's a guitar player. He sings in a rock and roll choir in a neighboring town. That's apparently a very informal thing. It's the sort of thing that I would probably be also allowed to go and do if I wanted to practice my singing. And again, I ain't quite there as far as that's concerned. But yeah, he just kind of hangs out, and we were talking about all manner of stuff because it's what we do. Maybe the interior of this will be wood because it'll look cooler. I can have the inside of this be other than just stone. That might be neat. That's not what I meant to happen. But yeah, it might be quite helpful for me doing things in this sort of off again, on again sense where the chickens, I can't get rid of these damn chickens. And the neat thing about ambient, like I was talking about with the chimney sweep friend that I got, it's almost like it's too damn easy. Like I enjoy setting up the synthesizers, and there's all kinds of sort of abstract things that I can do, and I know how to do them. And so it becomes like, well, let's do some more wacky synthesizer stuff and just kind of derping around with it. And it feels too easy. it feels kind of like, hey, all this is making noises with my reverb and stuff, and this can't really count because it's too laid back and it's not a struggle and it's not demanding or challenging. But that's part of why people like it. That's the whole point, is that it's this very accessible thing. It's very approachable. It's very kind of likable. That if you're doing ambient, then that's pretty. Again, I'm tempted to say easy. It's not that easy. In fact, doing it in a really interesting way is a special challenge, and like Brian Eno inventing it is amazing. But it's like just plain more laid back. Like the whole concept of ambient is such that if you're doing it properly, it's not particularly tiring. It's like soothing, it feels good. It's dare I say comforting. There's a lot going on there, which is quite a positive thing to have. Oh, it's getting dark. Time to see whether my new bed area works as a bed. I'm passing the night by sleeping. We'll see whether
Let's
that
go out there.
functions. It worked. I need to take some of my glowstone and light up this area real good because... and I know just how to do it. There. Bright light right over the bed. Actually, I could light this whole side up. That might be cool. There we go. Or indeed the whole back panel behind here. Or maybe not that. We'll have a light peeking through behind here. Anyway, it's also kind of like if I feel like ambient is just so easy, maybe that's just a matter of like how I musically function, like what my muse wants to do. Because I'm super into dub techno, although that is a rhythmic rather than a beatless scenario. And dub techno is very chill in attitude. So maybe it just seems easy to me because it comes naturally and is a good thing for me to be doing. At any rate, more chickens. I go and lay waste to these chickens, like this one, sir. Twang. And another one, or two, or three. Wouldn't it be funny if they were like spawning? I'm thinking that they are escapees from my former chicken havening ways, but maybe they're just naturally out here. And there's another somewhere. Actually, no, there's another right here. Ah. One thing about it, I'm going to have enough chicken. Call me Popeyes. Plunk. And the roof will be like this, and the floor will be like this. It sounds cooler. I think that these floors sound cooler than the stone. Foco is talking about ambient still. Slow changes in the music. Yeah, that's one of the things I like in this genre is to have stuff really very slowly evolving. Like, here's the thing. It's like, with the usual music that I do, it's like, oh, gotta be on top of everything, and I'm paying really close attention, and, away I go making really important, interesting music, playing guitars and stuff. Well, then this first ambient thing, the first 10 minutes or so, I went and made coffee. I set up, I was going to have coffee made in advance, and I didn't actually work that out properly, so I didn't have coffee in advance, and so I basically just set the music going and went off and made coffee. And I came back into the room with the coffee grinder and ground it in my hand while twiddling with stuff a little bit, and then I went back off again, and I poured over the coffee with my little AeroPress and stuff, and finished making it while the synthesizers were still kind of droning away doing their thing.
If it was Beat Druid, you'd actually name it Making Coffee.
And back I came, but because it was ambient, that was okay. That was like musically correct. It was musically permissible for me to like. Well, I suppose it could be like Pink Floyd and mic it, right? Mic the coffee kettle boiling. But it was musically correct to wander off for a bit and just let the thing evolve. Just let it sit there, because it's ambient. It's supposed to just sit there. If I'm doing my usual stuff of like must think of something more interesting for this to be doing, that's not actually correct for ambient. I mean, it's okay. I can. Nobody's stopping me from doing it, but there is a history of ambient that is perfectly fine, with not all that much going on, as far as filling up time with all kinds of novel, interesting things happening. It's not always.
That's one of the reasons why I like chill step.
Yeah.
It's just mellow. I'm oftentimes repeating.
And the thing that got me, drone music can be ambient. Yes, absolutely. It is not automatically specifically ambient, but it can very easily fall into a similar category or serve the same purpose. Because the definition of ambient by Eno is music that you can put on and just do other stuff. It just colors the air. It colors the texture of your experience, but it doesn't compel your attention.
If you've been to Euro Disney, then like the loops that they have in the various lands would be very much an example of ambient.
And so it's very interesting to me. In part because, let me see, do I have an X? Let me see if I can't. There we go. Like, when I choose to listen to music, rather than going and making it, being like, and now I am recording music, and this is what people should be interested in doing, and blah, 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 which is part of the challenge for me, because I have a very, I get very big inferiority stuff and wind up struggling terribly anytime I'm in a situation where it's like, this is my thing and it's worthwhile and you should listen to it, I almost always just switch off. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't really matter. And I'm working on that. I'm working on it. But when I choose to listen to music, it could very easily be quite literally drone music or ambient of some kind or other. I'll seek out stuff that's incredibly static. And I'll listen to it because that's what I want to hear that day. So for me not to do it, the only reason for me not to do it is because I actively want to be pursuing this beat-oriented stuff, with guitar solos and synthesizer solos and stuff, and I want the elaboration of the melody played over these chords and stuff, and have it be partly me thinking of it and partly the computer thinking. Well, it's not even a computer; it's a synthesizer. It's like ideally it can be done with like electricity, so it's not even like there's a computer in there. Although everything that I'm doing could also be done with an algorithm and done in the box with the correct facilities. But I'm so interested in figuring that stuff out. But then when I'm actually listening to stuff for pleasure, it could very easily be straight up ambient. Straight up very passive music. And I'm comfortable with that. But I have been really dragging my feet as far as making any of it. Instead, I just sort of it's like I am doing this stuff, and then if not, because it's like, oh, it's too easy, even though it's the kind of thing that I enjoy listening to. So, hence my change in plans. Hence the sudden making of, starting to get darker, I think. Hence the sudden...
Getting darker.
Yep. Do I have birch planks? Maybe I'll make a little bed sit so that I can have a little wood indented area to wake up on. There we go. See, bit by bit, we're getting this better and better. Speaking of which, let's cook some of this chicken again.
I love how this started off as Chaos World and now we're building bases.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we just fell back into doing that. We have so often done that. I'll have to see how you're doing with your base, because I keep doing these very... Although, Shawnee, you can relate to what I'm doing, because it's very much like the mountaintop removal stuff that you do.
Oh, yeah.
It's somewhat more arbitrary. It's like more snowball-y, but yeah. Yeah, and Foco, that's a good observation. According to Eno, it could also mean that I create some ambient music and then let it flow and come back to it later. So on the Tuesday stream, there is no chance that I could ever do that. Like, get stuff going and walk away and leave it to play. That would not be acceptable for the Tuesday, because the Tuesday is like techno and stuff, and although it can be minimal, it needs my musical intelligence constantly active on it to do what I want. But on the Wednesday, on the ambient side of things, it's a lot more legit to just like get stuff going and then wander off for half an hour and like read a book while the music sort of works its way through, and then come back to fiddle a couple of knobs or something like that. Go and make tea. And if the instruments are correctly assembled, you would never know that I'd walked away from the music maker because it'll continue to do stuff that's basically like, yep, this is the right kind of chill for this music right now. And I find that fascinating. Eno was talking about that himself in context with like what he did and how he was doing it. He talked about how, like, as he continued to do it, it was like he was removing himself from the composition more and more as he kept going, until he would set up these machines that would sort of play, and they would just create ambient music, and his job would be to set it up and press play and walk off. And it's intentionally, there's an absence, but there's also that that cyborg quality I was talking about, where it's like I've seen a lot of people try to do synthesizer stuff with like Moog Mother 32s and things, which I need to get mine fixed. Mine's broken. But Moog Mother 32s and things on the web. And what they're doing is coming up with a patch. And typically it's just like random notes patch. What they call Krell patch, which is a certain kind of multi-leveled randomness that you can do. And that whole genre is often along the lines of get it going and then walk off and let it do its thing. And sometimes they show it, lovely pictures of the Moog kind of running, usually in cool light, like the lighting that I've been getting together. I had to get a lens just for the purpose of being able to do the low light stuff that I've got, because the colored lights that I use are not bright enough. They're very much not bright enough, so it's been this elaborate process of continually trying to get that stuff, that's a cow noise, to get that stuff working. And the working within the ambient means you don't want the person's musical thought to be constantly intruding upon you. It's not about them impressing you. It's about, this is a musical piece or a musical environment, a place that I can be, that is kind of gradually progressing in recognizable, known ways. And it is doing its thing, and I'm welcome to be part of it if I like. And there's something pretty cool about that. And again, the reason that I haven't been doing it is because, first of all, it feels kind of like cheating because I can get a lot of stuff going along those lines. I mean, by now, I can do that like arguably better than anybody because of the chord organ stuff that I've been doing, where it's like improvising chords that make musical sense. And my best way of demonstrating that is to play along with it. If I'm shredding a guitar solo and the chords and also my guitar playing go to cool new places, it makes it... Hey, Turner. It makes it very obvious that something is up, that there's interesting musical thought going on. But if it's ambient, if there's no guitar solo happening, what happens is it is a continuous flow of chords and notes and bass lines. Like today I had a very slow bass. I had a bass that sort of played and just kept hitting notes, but it was hitting the notes very, very slowly. It was like a note every 10 seconds. So you couldn't even really tell it was coming. It was just this very boom, this very slow note happening from time to time. And using the same chord organ in like literally the same settings, it stops sounding like, wow, what a cool chord progression. That went to such amazing places. And instead, you can completely tune it out because it's a chord progression, but everything that it does always sounds sort of basically right. All the chords that it can go to are like, yeah, that sounds about right, and so it doesn't throw you. Nothing ever is like, well, that was a weird note, and yet it will lead you to weird places because of the randomness in the way that it functions. But it's very well suited, and I didn't realize this until I was actually trying it, until I was like using it for this purpose. It's very well suited for ambient because it gives you these random notes, these random chords, and you can tune them out, and it doesn't hit you with like random unpleasantness. It is quite a thing, really. Hey, Shauna.
I'm just getting some lag on my end. I wasn't sure if I logged out if it stopped.
I have successfully floored everything. So I think what I'm going to do is make this so that I can step down onto them stairs. Can mobs spawn on stairs? If they can't spawn on
so.
If they can't spawn on stairs, that would be convenient. Although not
I think
strictly.
it's like a half slab or something like that.
I could certainly make stairs out of half slabs. I'm just thinking maybe I don't have to.
Yeah, chests and things don't recognize it as a whole block, so I don't think the mobs would either.
Let me go and get a few stone brick stairs and sort of polish this off. Because some of my plans are also I need to put a bunch of glorious black glass everywhere. And I think I can eat mossy cobbles. Oh, actually, it's bedtime. Let me eat over to bed and use it. Oh, can't get away from those chickens, man. I think they must be spawning on grass. They might be spawning on grass. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Ta-da! All right, so stairwell acquire. Now I make this place dark, but still with no mobs in it.
Mm-hmm.
By building a roof. And then interior floors, I think, can also be this birch slabs. Birch slabs. Oh, goodness. So yeah, I guess that what's likely to happen going forward is it's usually going to be like this, in that the beginning of my week I am frantically making stuff happen and trying new things and being very busy with it all. Come on, slab. Here, slabby, slabby. Be a good little slab. There we go. That's more like it. And then by the Hangout stream, which we will continue to do, and anybody watching can join us. Literally, if you feel like playing games, or jumping on the chat, because you're quite welcome to do that. When we get busy, like placing blocks a lot, we often go kind of quiet, but we can totally open this up to conversation in a way that is not always the case with all of my streams.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I could be doing that on the Monday stream. I'm not sure whether it's a great idea, but I could. It's a possibility. But
Is it your bedtime then, Foco?
Oh, you heading to bed? That's fair. That's what I was saying. Is it might be that these Wednesday night streams will end up just being a very tired but hopefully satisfied Chris, having done all kinds of stuff over the course of the week and gearing up for a day or two of rest on like Thursday and Friday, where pretty much nothing is happening. I could literally just sleep, just go splat, and do next to nothing the entire time. Which might be what I sometimes need.
I'm waiting for Cyberpunk 2077.
It's a poster, a visitor, or...
That was Foco just saying I'm waiting for Cyberpunk 2077. We'll stay a bit longer.
I was trying to figure out whether that was a person.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to go AFK for a short bit.
Alrighty. I will keep placing blocks and sort of aimlessly chatting. Yeah, I have a pretty positive feeling about this arrangement of the week, because it's like there's stuff that matters to me that I feel is important, even if it is somewhat arbitrary. And the way that I've been engaging with like music and people's involvement with my music has been somewhat like, it is like I'm kind of soliciting people to talk to me while I'm doing it, but at the same time, people will typically be like, "Free bird," it's like, do this or do that, make dubstep, can you do some drum and bass? And often what my muse is telling me is, no, you're doing this right now. And so it becomes a fruitless process of, there becomes no point to letting people in. And so like I'm glad that Ahmed, for instance, has a sense of humor about this kind of stuff, because he has a real tendency to like toss out ideas for stuff I should do. Play this, play that. Play the music from Cyborg because that sounds like Cyborg. Play, a cover of this or that or the other thing. And very often my reaction is like, nope, can't do that, or I don't know the chords for that song, so I can't play that even if I wanted to, and just all that kind of stuff. And it's weird because it's like I'm trying to solicit ways for people to be part of that Cyborg. and I have not yet figured out how to do it. I'm looking for basically more collaboration. I'm looking for how do I let my listeners in on the music that is being made, and yet I have a really rotten track record of being able to successfully figure it out. It's been like 100% nope. It's been like I have not been able to come up with any way to let people in on that, even to the point of like being listeners just about. So it's weird. And part of that, like, nobody is actually telling me, hey, you need to put this in. You need to let people like do stuff and direct the course of your music. Nobody's actually saying that except me. It's like with the making computer music stuff that thinks of chords. There's the part of me that wants to be like, yeah, I'm going to make computer music stuff in which the audience hits like W to accelerate and S to decelerate the tempo. And yet at the same time, I know that if I tried that, it would probably be a horrible train wreck. It would go in a direction that was not great. But then in the ambient kind of thing, it's like the synthesizer pieces I'm putting together do not care what the end music is. So I could have that kind of like chat interaction thing going on an ambient stream where the computer is literally the only thing thinking of the music, and that would be fine. There would be no problem with that. So it gives one furiously to think. I do not know what is developing from that and where. I only know that that's one of the things I'm working on is trying to make that accessible. And yeah, in many ways, Foucault, all of this is weirdly connected. And in other ways, it's kind of not. Like, I can't really claim, oh yeah, this Minecraft stuff is super related. I would like to hang out with people and be like, here is how you can do gaming ideas. And it's like the plugins. If I pitch a gaming idea, people are just like, cool, do that. Have you done that yet? And I'm like, no. I'm actively using a like Minecraft plugin, which I created with my brother Dan, and he did the guts of it. And then all this stuff, like the way that I'm placing slabs underneath me, I coded all of this. Dan did the part where it fires a snowball, and then you can decide what to do with blocks in the world. And then the specifics of deciding what to do with these particular blocks is definitely me. But, it becomes a thing of, I can't necessarily make the connection for people. In a sense, it's connected. But then at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a tough row to hoe if you're going to explain how it's connected in any way. Or have it, make sense. So all I can really do is try to set up my weekly schedule and how all of this sort of fits together so that I'm able to actively persist in doing it. Like I'm not burning out or having it go in directions that are making me sad. And this bit is working pretty well, I would have to say. Like, I feel like the schedule of my life, which is all about the plugins and music and stuff, and there are major things, like pieces of my life that are just missing in action. And that's going to be that way until, I get determined to change it in some way. By the way, Shauna, I do not know whether you are looking to sleep or not. I think you just went AFK.
I went AFK, but I'm back, so I can sleep now.
Okay. Then maybe that would be a good idea, seeing as it is.
In
Wow.
bed.
I bounced on the bed so much it was unreal. I came falling down from super far and boing,
Boing.
boing, like I was wearing slime boots. Which apparently is a new Minecraft thing, or at least a Minecraft thing. I'm not sure how new it is.
Okay, if they're going to create slime boots, then they also have to have green all-in-one PJs.
Indeed, indeed. It might be a modded thing. I'm seeing that on the Loading Ready Run guys thing. They're doing all of this stuff, and one of the things is that they have slime boots, and so they can generate those. And it looks very fun. I was watching Serge Yeager, who is this very sweet fellow on the Loading Ready Run. Serge is a fascinating character. He is the sweetest nice boy imaginable. He is like the ultimate cinnamon roll guy. If he's just your sweet, lovable cinnamon roll person. And I think probably part of the reason for this is that as a kid, he like put a kid's eye out with some kind of roughhousing. And ever since then, he has been committed to the cause of good in this very deep, deep way. To the point where all of the parts that he typically plays are like, sweet guy parts. To the point where when he had a comedy routine, they did a thing where there's a guy walking along going, "Warriors come out to play, Warriors," out of the the movie, and a guy shows up and it's like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What do you want? T-ball. And he was playing the savage outlaw gangster guy going, "Warriors come out to play." So he was like psycho look in his eyes, and he was topless, and the dude is actually built like nothing you'd believe. He was a pretty hot dude, and he was full of attitude. And everybody was like, "No, sir, what have you done with my Surge? Surge is mean now, but strangely hot. I don't know what I think about this." And it was the most adorable thing ever. But, yeah, the reason I started talking about Surge was because he has started uploading his Twitch streams of Minecraft gaming. Because Loading Ready Run is like a Magic the Gathering and also Minecraft and video gaming channel, and so they just do that. They're mostly Twitch-based, but everything bounces over to YouTube. Well, Serge has been doing like solo Minecraft building, much the same way that we do, for like 4 or 5 hours at a stretch. And he recently started bouncing those over to YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, nice. I enjoy." Foco. Good night. Talk to you later.
All right.
We'll be back. Same bad time, same bad channel. And I was like, I enjoy hanging out with you on the internet. I will absolutely follow your new Surge YouTube channel, which is the uploading of long streams done on Twitch. So that was kind of neat. That was like a gratifying thing. But in this stream, he was like trying to build something or other, and he was derping around in the Nether, and was wearing slime boots. Slime boots are a thing, but they might be a modded thing. And what they do is they make you bounce. So like if I was on top of this place and I wasn't using the jetpack snowball that lets me fall and not die, if I was wearing slime boots, I could fall from a height like this, like go ee, and I would bounce. Unfortunately, Serge was in the Nether, And so he jumped in some direction and went off somewhere, and he bounced and he landed in a lava lake. Going
Not
like, oh no, oh no,
fun.
no, and scrambling and trying to figure out what to do. And he managed to get out somehow and was like wolfing cooked mutton and going like, don't die, don't die, don't die. And it was all because of the slime boots. It was because he was using this probably modded, unless it's like a newer standard issue Minecraft thing, where you can make boots that are just bouncy castle boots. So that was kind of neat, and that's why I was thinking when I mentioned the slime boots. Now the mod pack that they're playing is actually called Surgecraft, because some of their friends, they like put this together because Surge was a vanilla player and they were trying to get him into modded. So they basically were just like, okay, we'll make a special modded pack and then we'll call the modded pack Surgecraft, and it's just for Surge. And go ahead and enjoy this wonderful mod pack that we have made for you. And it's a pretty neat mod pack. It has like these astral science things and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on there. But that's part of it. And I mean, all the more going forward, in a world where people stay home, it's nice to have like personalities you can hang out with online, whether they know you or not. And I find I do a lot of that. I do quite a lot of that. It's one of the reasons that it means so much to me to get back to the hanging out with my actual friends and, speaking with them and doing this Wednesday evening thing, because for a long time I was working too hard and wasn't doing any of that. But even when I wasn't doing any of that, I would be like, whether it's podcasts or these Minecraft streams or whatever, I would be doing stuff along the lines of finding people to hang out with that I was just hanging out, virtually hanging out with people by watching their Minecraft streams. And it's just this kind of thing where it didn't really matter much what they were doing. Like, we're placing blocks, or we're digging the top of a mountain off, or something like that. All that kind of stuff turns out to be exactly the sort of thing that is like super appropriate. I mean, it's just ideal. And you just kind of do that. Because it's not really, it's like the My Little Pony thing. It's about the friends we made along the way.
Amen.
And the more I get locked into working incredibly hard, trying to make plugins or whatever, doing all that kind of stuff, it turns out the more I need to, and I have successfully made. Now let's enter this from the other part of the piece. Down here. Here is our glorious new home. Ooh. There's a shaft of light coming in from the top there. It's a little odd. And no mobs because it's all half slabs. Yay. Maybe I can make it like the Guggenheim, or whichever that one is, that sort of slowly spirals around and up. That might be a cool thing. That, or I can test some of these assumptions and see whether... See, now that was useless. I did not need to do that. Weird that we have these bands of light in there. You look at the corner, The corner lights right up. Makes me wonder whether... Firstly, how hard would it be to get up there? And secondly, what would it be like if I... Oh, what I'm doing might be very foolish. Maybe let's not do that. I was going to rocket myself up there and then try to place a block by switching away from the rocket. That is a recipe for going splat.
Yeah, kinda.
Maybe not the best of ideas. Maybe I'll do some clever way of dealing with this instead. I'm tempted to put,
I'm in bed, by the way.
oh, okay, let me go and take care of that. Eat. Bed. There we go. Presumably daytime. Not that I can really tell. In my oil drum here. Giant oil tank. I'm really interested in solving that. Not that it's a big problem, but I feel like if I'm making it dark inside, it should be able to make it properly dark inside. So let's work on that. Eat. Boom. I'm happy to see that my stream is hanging in there just fine. I was a little concerned with misbehaving that it was doing, but it seems to have straightened itself out pretty well. Let's see. Boop. And boop. And can't quite do this, can I? So let us age out over here a little bit. Did that improve matters? No, it did not. Okay, theoretically I can get up here. Oh, I bet I know what's going on there. Yeet. Now what does that look like up there? Okay, the block's over there. This is going to be quite difficult getting back up here. Nothing to it but to try it. Nailed it. These blocks do nothing. Nothing. But these blocks darken things. Eat. Kinda, but not all that much. I think I'm just going to deal with having the light more visible up there. It'll take me a while to master this, I think. Actually, no, it's not as hard as I thought. And this last one I break with the irrelevant snowball. Whee! Eat. Oh, hey, this could be an aerodrome. I've just made an aerodrome. It's a very dark aerodrome. Oh, I should make a single skylight in the center. That seems like that would be cool. Let's go and do that. Also, we need to have that was weird. Oh. F shifts hands. I did not realize that.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
I never knew that. Wow.
That's the two-handed fighting technique.
Indeed.
You can have your shield in your left hand and your weapon in your right. Up them.
Is this what I wish? No, I do not think it is. This is
just gonna flat earth me.
Who is gonna flat earth you?
I have found a section of sky blocks. I loathe sky blocks.
And it seems like you might want to dispose of them. Oh, hang on. I have a good idea. Let's just make this be glass. I got some glass on me. See how that looks. It looks very bright, but I think I can probably live with it. I could also use black glass. I don't have any on me, but that was one of my projects, so let's pursue that a little bit more. Because I was totes going to do some black glass. Boop. Now let's see how that looks. Black glass was going to be for Windows. kind of cool. Ooh, I could make a black glass stairway down into the depths of the ocean. That would be so cool.
Mm.
Notions like that are always in order. It's like, yep, this is the new hotness. This is what we're going to be doing now. But I am also going to make a walkway across the ocean to this other place. Where there might still be a zombie pigman. I guess I'll find out. I will hear him grunting away. Oh. Night's falling. I'm going to put my black glass aside for the time being. And
I'm going to assume that in your spelunking that you are not able to get to bed.
on the contrary, I have gone to bed. Hey, German. German says, hi, how are you? I'm doing okay. I'm working a new schedule where the beginning of my week is very intense in doing all kinds of stuff. And then it culminates with Wednesday Minecraft Hanging Out stream. And then I have a couple of days that just go on splat and not necessarily being much good for anything. And I turn around to do it again.
Wheels turning round and round.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. There's the shallows. And over here is the deep, deep waters. And it wasn't really very deep over there, but off the side of this building, it gets kind of ridiculously deep. So that's cool. Yeah, I like this. This is like the Marianas Trench. I could continue to make it even deeper. I could have this like subterranean, ridiculous, ultra deep wackiness. Meanwhile, what shall we do over here? Well, first of all, I think maybe I will duplicate myself some stuff. Keep hearing this. Chickens, arg. Oh, and I do have a bunch of black glass, so maybe this would be a good time to make some of those too. So let's see how this works. It is very dark, but it does seem to work. Okay. That was exciting. Oh, it just spawned a mob, and it went crazy-ass bonkers and whacked me.
Oh, that happened.
But it wasn't very tough. It was just carrying glass. I suppose it could cut me with the glass, but that's not really a thing.
It's
Glass.
just barroom brawl stuff.
Yeah, glass block doesn't really count that way. Although, you know, I feel like I should make glass panes for the windows here. Glass blocks is all very well and good, and I'm using that for something. So it is all the reason in the world to make a bunch of these guys and grind them. But windows might be better off as glass panes. And I'm definitely interested in making a bunch of floors here. I just haven't decided how they're going to be cool or interesting or not. Maybe this is a good time to experiment with the concept of glass panes. Because this area is like my little house, but that's not the recipe. Let's see, what is? Nope. Nope. That's the recipe. Sewing a bunch of glass panes. So I don't want any right here, but across the way it might just be a place. I have the most outlandishly thick walls here. Oh, they're embedded in the ground, that's why. So yeah, this part actually didn't work the way I expected. Let's see if I can... Man. Okay, so that's not going to work at all. This is not an appropriate place for a window. I need to be coming from the outside of the place, I think. Inside of the place is not suitable. And let's put some of this stuff back. First. I'll just reclaim or replace. And now it's dark and I can't see anything. Do I have glowstone on me? I do. Bing. Now I can see everything. Including how foolish I was trying to place stone blocks here. Boop. Return to being a solid wall. Blunk. Yeah, I'm totally gonna go out from the outside. It's going to have much to do with what's on that side of the window as to what's actually going to look good. So here's a bunch of trees, but we could put a window coming in from here. Very thick walls, these. Although I could thin them out. Splot. Yeah, they're like ramparts or something. But that could serve a purpose, maybe? I'm trying to think of how you would use glass panes here.
It's 2 rows of 3 across, I think.
Yep. No, I made them. I'm just trying to figure out the geometry of, like, how would I place this?
Yeah.
Let us experiment with the idea of sealing these edge bits up here, because that's part of my puzzlement. And then maybe if they look kind of like that. Except for that this is kind of cutting off vertically, so did not mean to do that. Maybe I'll build my rooms around the concept of these windows. That would help make things a little more specific. By the way, I am aware this night I will be heading to bed shortly. And by shortly, I mean in just a moment.
Well, I'm in just whenever.
Eat.
No hurry.
Here we go. Nailed it. Oh, I like the way that this lets light in the great darkness of this design. That said, I clearly got some building to do in order to get up to here. Yeet. Nope. Yeet. Nope. Straight at it. Yeet. Oh, that time I was too short. Yeet. And too tall. Man, I'm having a lot of difficulty making this happen. And again with a nope. Okay, got there. I want to get enough sky in that you can look up to some extent. How much up, I haven't really decided, but that's probably good. Oh yeah. That'll work. The position of this tree is not great, but that'll work. Time to start getting some other windows happening, because this design is functional. by which I mean eating myself haphazardly around. Eat, eat, eat. Plunk. Okay, so here's another wall. What's a good view for this one? Up here, just over the trees. Or indeed, almost under the trees. Or just anything having to do with trees. Nailed it. Yeet. That was the yeet of do not want. Throwing my pick randomly at things. Yeah, I gotta remember how I did that last time. Whoop. So I got a sort of dormer thing going on. And I believe it worked like this. And there's some more stained glass panes. Is this what I did? Can't possibly be. Eat, eat, eat. Okay, so the width is 1 in, and then within that there is an additional thickness that goes 1 out. We'll do something like that. And that's 4 high, which it does not need to be 4 high. Although I could use brick stairs to make this be more interesting looking. And one of these. Yeah, is Turner okay, Shauna? Does not come online. Is Turner okay? Hasn't come
He's
online.
in AFK. He hasn't
Okay.
come in yet.
Oh, that is fine. Ooh, idea. But how can I make this idea if I don't have enough stairs? There we go. That's more stairs. Oh, hang on now. What? Who dare? That I just pinged you, but you're not a mob. What's going on? Eat. Eat. Shauna! Oh. Sorry, I thought you were a mob because you shot me.
No.
Okay, if I had known I wouldn't have shot you back.
I just thought I'd visit.
There's no real harm done
No.
pinging me a couple of times.
Did I actually ping you?
A couple of times. You pinged me once. I shouldn't say a couple of times.
Seriously?
I don't know.
Because I wasn't even aiming
where'd I
at
get
you. I was
that?
aiming near the window.
Nope, I went poing.
Oh, sorry. I was too far away to see. Or hear.
Come and see what I am trying to do with this, because I think it might actually be good. It is very difficult to get into this, even with flying, or especially with flying.
Yeah.
I find if I eat myself up and then sort of keep, going forwards,
Yeah.
that works. And you know, the way this is done, I could technically... There we go. Oh, didn't mean to get the glass there. Let's try to replace that. We're getting a rarity-like fit of creative inspiration here with this, because
nothing wrong with that.
It is taking shape.
Retrieving some of your blocks here. You left them on the ground.
Yep, and it is now bedtime. So unless we want to pass the night, I only have a tiny little space available for sleeping, so you got to make a clear space too. Tell you what.
Come on, leave bed, leave bed. There we go.
Now it should be legit. We'll find out.
But
yep. Is good. You got spare beds? You're leaving me with that one?
I can leave that one there.
In that case, I can put a little more birch flooring in there, and ta-da! Yeah, now that's what I call a window. I like the looks of that. I am pleased.
Mm-hmm.
So pleased that I'm going to go and do that same thing on the other side, if I have enough bits.
Is there actually a door in this, or?
It's in the floor over here. This little hole is a stairwell. Where I'm at.
I can't hardly see you.
We'll fix that.
Ah, there we go.
And mobs are not going to spawn on top of glowstone, so that'll be just fine.
There it is.
Let's see now. How shall we... I think this other dormer is pretty much exactly the same thing, just larger. So, beep. I'm trying to make these have a view on the outside. Seems like a suitable pursuit. Let's see. Boop. Oh, no, that's not right at all. Let's fix you. Lost it to the outdoors. And I believe that just fixed that. Plonk. Yep. Alrighty. I have a window design. And the stream
Yay.
still seems to be working, double yay. There's 5 people watching, which means the stream can't be so broken that there's nothing left. So there's that. At which point the next thing is make floors that relate to these locations. So seeing as I've got a certain amount of wood planks, let's start that process. Oh, let's get this bone out of here. So, the question becomes, look down on the vista or look up? I better go and check the other one to see if that's okay. Boop. Hmm.
Excuse me.
Quite all right. Hmm. What do you think of this design trick, Shauna?
Unfortunately, I'm not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
I returned back to my hovel.
I need an axe to chop up these things. My little hand will do for now. I'm basically making a design where these sort of dormer windows are extending off of the floor, but the floor could be like a step down or a half block down or a half block up from where the base of these windows are. And they're 3 high. If you step down and stand on where the blocks are, you get a very nice view. So I'm trying to figure out like what looks better from sort of ground level. And I'm beginning to think that looking down into the dormer is ideal. So I'll be doing that. But it is a question, to be sure. It's making the inside of this place very dark, but that's okay, because it's not going to be a spawnable area. So I'll figure out how to light it later. Probably with glowstone or something. Oh, and I'll tell you what, there's another decorative thing that I can do here as well with the dormers. Namely, and this helps to give me my ceiling height, because it all starts to kind of make visual sense if I just follow the logic of it out. Which I am happy to do, especially since I can grind blocks in Snowball rather than... Oh, hang on you. As if I had to make my own blocks for all of this, it would be a little overwhelming. That's the way. Nailed it. I'm certainly going to need to figure out more in the way of lighting here. Because it's very good at not being spawnable area, but it's also very good at being really dark.
I get spiders.
Shall we sleep?
I'm in.
Likewise. It is nice having my chimney swept. My wood stove is much cleaner now than it was.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm not actually using it at the moment because I was... Yeah, you can't use it the day that the chimney gets swept, so I wasn't. But I shall tomorrow. Because I think it's going to be chilly enough that I can... Hey. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah, I won't tell you what the temperature was down here.
Oh. Oh, tell me.
It peaked at 81.
Ooh. Well, you know, it's getting right up to 70 out here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going back to freezing again. But it's in that zone where it's starting to bounce around temperature-wise a lot.
Yeah.
So it is going to get warm. And I'm down with that.
Already got spring leaves on plants and that kind of stuff.
There you go. That's going to be nice.
My mom's got that little exercise pool. We got in it for the first time in the season, and that was quite nice. Especially considering she's going into the hospital tomorrow for her surgery, so yay.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe I should be making some kind of growing stuff, because my mom used to do that, and she's no longer with us, but I'm remembering that was a thing that she was into, and she was not really very much of a green thumb, honestly. It's not like she was that good at it, but it wasn't about being that good at it. You know, it's like she wasn't that good at cooking, but she didn't like cooking, so there was no point to really caring about it. And she wasn't that good at gardening, but oh, she liked it. So there is a lot to be said for that. As far as I'm concerned, go ahead and do as much of the thing that you actually like, whether you were hot shit at it or not, you know. Didn't expect that. There we go. Yeah, what is she having done?
She's got a growth between her sternum and her heart. It's non-cancerous, but it's still invasive, so they're going to be removing it with robotic surgery.
Ooh, fair enough then.
Very small incisions coming in through the side of the ribs, between the ribs.
Yep.
Like I told her, if the doctor has put the Konami code on a 3x5 card stuck to the side of the robot, I will be both impressed and scared at the same time.
Yeah, she can become a super robot, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, aside from the obvious, the worst thing that might happen is they might have to crack her chest to get in there, and possible she could lose one half of her lung because of it surrounding one of the nerves for the that lobe of the diaphragm. So
Oh, well, I sure hope not.
I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad that they are as thorough as they are in telling you what the possible bad things could be.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it's like, yeah,
Can you tell me less?
yeah.
I didn't want to have this so detailed in my brain. That's fair.
Hey, Turner.
Hey, Turner. You up? Yep.
Hello.
Hello,
I just
hello.
saw. Hello. I am making some very cool dormers in my giant cylindrical castle. It is starting to become actually kind of nice almost. Trying to make sort of multi-level positions for all this. And
Derping on my village. Listening to Phil Collins.
oh, are you playing some Phil?
No, I was initially for some reason something key to memory, and I was listening to some Journey, and then I realized, oh wait a minute, somehow this is a playlist. So I'm just writing the playlist.
Sure.
If you know, the Wurlitzer has a mind of its own. I guess Phil's going to be touring again.
Yeah, he's working with
And
Genesis
his
again.
son, and his son's going to be on doing some stuff with him too. So
I think that's very nice. I mean,
mm-hmm.
you know, he's been through a bunch of stuff, and there was that whole thing of like, oh, he's so overexposed, everybody hates him so much, and it's like, no, don't hate him so much. That's not reasonable.
No, not his fault. He does good stuff.
It's not his fault he does accessible stuff. I did that Evergreens. I think this is one of the reasons why I burnt out in Evergreens is I was taking it and I was like, I am going to make people understand why Phil Collins is okay. Knowing that there were people who were like, no, you do not convince me. Curse you, sir. Curse you. But yeah, in that solo stuff, he is just it's super accessible. It is this very I mean, I almost don't even know how to describe it other than good. I could just say yeah, it's good.
If it wasn't Phil Collins, you could almost call it, pop rock.
Oh, it totally is. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that stuff that's his whole thing is it didn't matter whether he was making songs that went oh Susudio. He was able to sing it as if it mattered so much.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's part of what annoyed some people about it was they were like, people seem to love it as if it matters, and yet I know that there is no brain to this. It is just like tune.
The one that he did during that time, In the Air Tonight, that still haunts me. I still have to hear that every once in a while.
Oh, hell yeah. It is phenomenal. But, what does it mean? Even he is maybe not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
And yeah. Because it's like, I think in a sense, it is, it's his divorce album. And so it's about a lot of that, certainly. And it is this, the words aren't real specific and it could mean any number of things, but emotionally it means how he was feeling right then. And it was really fierce for him. And it's hard not to respect that. I have no interest in not respecting that. I respect the hell out of that. So
And
yeah,
because it's not incredibly specific, no matter where you are, if it resonates with you, it resonates with you for the reasons that you have for it to resonate with you.
Yep.
Turner, are you in a spot to sleep?
I will be in momentarily. I just gotta yeet myself into this window. Yeet. And double yeet, and bouncing on the bed, and there we go.
But I have to be up early in the morning to take my mom in.
Oh, okay, so are we gonna turn in? Are we gonna turn in properly at 9?
Whenever.
Like good little
it's
ponies.
Not that bad. She's probably not gonna sleep it all night, so she's like I am. If you got something like that's that kind of appointment that early, you just don't sleep.
Okay, we'll tell you what. We'll do like a fairly normal duration for it. Like we won't go way into the night. How about?
That'd be cool.
But I am very engaged in creating these dormers because this giant empty silo is starting to look like a house or something. And that, of course, is exactly what I wanted to see happen. So let's just continue that some, shall we? And we shall. I remember on one of the servers where I made that house all out of like birch planks, and it was all birch planks and black glass. It was this very modern looking thing. That was fun. That was a cool looking house. Oh, hello. Here, we can break a hole and let you in. I've got spare glass. Check out the other dormers. This one is not finished yet. Basically just placing a bunch of blocks and stuff, but it's very snowball-y, this construction method. Oh, no. No, the cylinder is pure snowball. The cylinder is a carefully planned giant chest plate snowball. So that's how that one came about. Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you. I must tell you about that now because you'll be able to make much use of it. Hopefully not right here. As you know, helmets make spheres because Shadowed has done plenty of that. But now the chest plate, similar degree of size, and also the number of blocks in the stack on top of it signifies. And I don't think it's tied to XP anymore. But that makes a cylinder that tends to embed itself in the ground. And of course, these I'm doing with half slab snowballs. And since there are half slabs on the bottom of it, I can have it anywhere I want, and mobs aren't going to spawn there, so I'm going to light it more later, but for now, it's just this very bunch of big spaces up here, up in this place. Not yet. If you have any suggestions of what would be good, it could happen, because the boots and pants do not yet make shapes. No, I haven't had an idea that would do it. But, you know, these things are possible. Stranger things have happened. I was thinking about it, and I just couldn't think of anything to do with them. I suppose giant squares or cubes or something? Yeah, rectangle towers, maybe? So like this, but instead of spherical, it would be rectangles, and then you could easily make that... yeah, pants more narrow and tall, and that would work. So that is something for possibly more future, and yeah, these are possibilities. Those are all good suggestions. I didn't think to implement them, but even though I didn't think to implement them, they would still work pretty good. Yeah, home and chest would be round, pants and boots could be square. Seems legit. I think you have just solved that problem. To the extent that what is a problem, it's not really a problem. It's just more stuff that I'm building. Speaking of problems, let's give myself some more... Oh. That's not how that's done. This is. Oh.
Mm.
Plunk. Ah, neat. Whoop. That was not good. Let's put that back. Hmm. Onwards into the crucible of creation. I'm going to have 4 different floor levels here. At least. Possibly more. Thing is, though, I like having this be enormously spacious inside, especially since we fly around so much, so maybe it'll be just fine. And I can have lighted areas where stuff lives, so that mobs don't spawn in the middle of it. Aye. This Mega Peck is arguably too powerful because it's going right through stuff like butter. Efficiency 4, it could be even more effective than that, and it's already a little too effective for me. There we are. I'm very picky about how these are allowed to arrange themselves, and I think they are arranging themselves just fine. Although I may need to place, I guess I'll see. I have not seen the latest snapshot, no. I've been tending to focus on this because I know it'll run on our server and not fall over. Do you mean feed the beast or feed the bees? Yeah. Oh. Oh, different nether ores. That might be interesting. Oh, I see. That's nice. Let's see if we can repeat it. Uh, just a moment. I'm on it.
Yeah, man.
Boop. There we go. Oh, I think I can see what would make this be better. This is a large area. So what might work is to expand the size of this light and this light. Seeing as I'm not able to use a single one, I have to use two, so I'll use 4. And that's a pretty large gap, so I'll make it that a 9. And might just be good to have some kind of decorative feature. Have just the thing. Diamond block. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I could use coal. What died here? Well, anyway. Oh, pff, I'm carrying it. Derp de derp. What better way to make this decorative feature? Then to reach over this way and that, and a little regular glass. Which can also be seen from outside a little bit. And then let's see a little more in the way of this floor. I need an axe to deal with this stuff. Clearly it wants an axe. Oh, or I almost yeeted myself into the ground there. Let's not do that. Stone pickaxe for removing any block, including the one you're standing on.
Kind of indiscriminate.
That's one way to call it. So I'm not sure why I'm using just a boring old diamond axe. I could be using a much better one. Oh, I know. It's because it was right there, and that's why I grabbed it. I just like the sound of wooden floors and things, and walking on them and all that kind of stuff. There's a certain coziness to it. Even chopping them up with an axe is like a twang. Whee. I am going to, first of all, head over here and finish this, but then I'm going to go and get the rail axe. Relax. Those are helmets and leggings. And not there either. And not there either in here. Or perhaps not? No, I'm confused. Oh, I bet it's going to be this one. Place your bets. Oh. Nailed it. Prismarine, woot. All right, that works.
Better take care if you find there's a creeper around your back stairs.
Oh, is there?
It's nighttime.
In that case, I had better eat myself back over to bed. Boop. And it is getting on towards nighttime because it's getting on towards 9. So let me know when you feel that the evening is at an end. This evening I can probably derp around fairly indefinitely, which is fine, but I don't have to.
Just if I get off the server doesn't mean everybody else has to. Turner just got on fairly recently, so.
Well, that's true. Yeah, Turner, if you want to put more time into this, we can stretch a certain amount. I don't think I'm going to be wanting to go until midnight or anything close to it, but it is a thing of negotiation, which goes for anybody who's watching. If you want to come and join us and play this with us, then you too can also be like, oh, it's time to... Oh, okay. I guess we all are not going to want to stay up super late, so
Yeah,
which
is good. Yeah.
We will reach a consensus. I feel like the super late ones are often because like shit's been going on, and it's like, no, must break blocks, lots of blocks, which I feel is understandable. It's like a fine way of decompressing. Has a lot to do with why we're even here, why we're even doing this. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit more writing on the next Trixie Verse book. It's not going fast, but it is sort of going. I feel like when I actually get a cover for it, which I'm not sure when that's going to happen, stuff might start picking up. And then that'll be exciting. But I've got like the teaser and a good half of the first chapter, and I have a good clear sense of where it's going. So all in all, that is pretty good. Oh, what is my inventory full? Can I not pick up this stuff anymore? Oh, it's been for some time actually, Turner. I've been preparing to the new book will be called Too Pure, And it continues onward from the previous one. So people who have not been following that whole saga, oh my goodness, you have a lot of catching up to do. But it's all good. That is the secret side of Chris. People who only know about the plugins, they have no idea. Suffice to say that
facets of Jinx.
Suffice to say, I keep real busy. You would be a little surprised if you think that the Airwindows stuff is impressive on its own. Someday somebody will write a book. Oh wait, it's me. I've written 10. Well, 13. Some of them are not available on the internet anymore because they're old furry stuff. I love how you get random funky noises when you're in a big empty open space. I think that's what was causing that noise. One of the Minecraft sound effect noises. Eat. One thing about this method of construction, it does give me lots of extra resources. I think I've completed these things, although I could always decorate them in more interesting ways. So if this slanted in with stone underneath it, how far down would it go? Would fill up a lot of space to do that. Oh, I see a missing space. I hear a missing cow. Not exactly what I had in mind. Bloop. There. And now, how shall we get up to the top here for one final window? Maybe I'll make a giant floating center room that defies gravity. That'd be kind of cool. Speaking of kind of cool, I want to see whether I can find the exact center of this. I'll poke a hole.
Hey, Shadowed.
Hey, Shadowed.
Rar.
4,
Rar.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12.
Are you with us in spirit, if not in fact?
I am loading-ish Minecraft stuff. Yes, I am house sitting.
Fun.
Oh.
And so the time that I had to arrive here for like stuffy stuff was like 6:45, 7, which meant I had to leave my place at like 6.
That
And
must have
also
been
I had
when
to
we
pack
saw
you
you
everything.
drop off of the TeamSpeak then.
Yes, I didn't even realize the TeamSpeak was connected. I had just turned on the computer, quickly hit some stuff that I need to hit before 6 o'clock. So I didn't even have the headphones plugged in.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I'm probably going to be jumping off here shortly.
Oh,
Yeah, we're not pulling a particularly late night this time. But I'm glad that we were up for long enough to...
The heck was that? I'm not a
what was
happy
that?
degenerate.
Where did that
Cecil?
come from?
Well, we have openly invited people to join our chat. I guess somebody did somehow. And
Nobody
that could
joined
easily
in.
be
We
Cecil.
have a new boy. We can make ponies talk.
Oh, Turner discovered something.
Oh, is that what did it?
Apparently.
Are we reprogramming the pony dolls to say things that are less than stellar in friendship?
Oh.
That's funny.
I imagine that is more or less just what you might expect. It's like, yep, it's definitely my crew. Making strange and disturbing noises.
It's our jam.
I was making some mighty strange and disturbing noises in my ambient music jam, in fact. I came up with a really cool thing where... That's Turner again, right?
What? My inventory is empty.
Did you die?
My ender chest is empty.
That's not supposed to be.
Did you glitch?
Did something
Are
go
you
bad?
Are you logged on to the right persona?
Yeah.
I am
Why
puzzled.
did
I
you
do not...
delete your player.dat?
Shouldn't be able to. That should be on my server.
Oh. Also, I have no level.
Okay then.
What? So,
Curiouser and curiouser.
that's an issue.
Did you log out from the nether?
I've no idea.
I'm in bed, by the way.
Likewise.
But I did spawn in near my bed,
Mm.
which is where I was previous.
Very strange.
Oh.
Hmm.
No. That means... Oh, okay, I remember what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, last week I ended off a session, hugging a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Because, while traveling back from the nether,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got hit by a lag fake, and my snowball didn't work. I fell from a great height,
Yeah.
losing all of
It
my
was a very messed up session, that's for sure. A
lost
lot going
all
on.
of my wither skulls, my nether stars, soul sand,
Yeah. Yep.
all
Yeah.
my potion supplies,
Tough day at the
Oh.
office.
all of my super stuff,
Yep.
F's and chat.
That's right. And we were staying on later just to let you get back to the known area.
I really don't know how you manage
Yeah.
to do these things.
Seriously,
Fluttershy is
Turner, that is
judging
you. Is Turner able to talk like Fluttershy now? That'd be strangely awesome.
Potentially.
That'd be very awesome. Turner did make best Fluttershy, so. God, that goes all the way back to the Nightmare Moon server.
Mm. Yeah.
Call back.
Very
Yes,
slowly, but
please.
yes.
So is it a soundboard? Is it like
This is why Turner hasn't wanted to talk before. This is the natural voice.
Aw. That's a wonderful natural voice. Okay. Now let's place a working platform.
And I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and call it good night and
Okay.
gather my stuff up. And I'm going to be staying at my mom's
It's the
tonight
Pony
so that we can get out.
Preservation Project's work. That's 15. Yep.
I could get used to that.
The cuteness is ramped up to 12.
that little voice.
Alright, Joe, well, you have a good week. I probably won't be talking to anybody until about the next stream, so.
Alrighty. Be very interested to hear how everything works out.
Yeah,
Take care, Anna.
we shall see. You too. It is.
I don't think we're going to stay up super much later than this because I need to head to bed too, but let's see Shadow settled a little bit. And do you need to be given stuff? Should we get together and load you up with stuff or anything?
Sit back down, doggy. Oh, I have a single firework left. Let's do some duping.
Too bad I can't sing. There's no cock like horse cock.
Okay. We're definitely in the crew. Meanwhile, I am doing a slightly redesigned window. Or, see, that's not what I wanted.
What? Why are my dogs teleporting while sitting down?
That I do not know. That does seem rather mysterious.
This seems like an issue.
Hmm. Seems like maybe something isn't working the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
That whole
Watch
big
out,
dragon
doggo.
song is like the Trixievers theme song.
Dear God, that's not just soundboards, is it? Wow, okay, this is going to get real interesting.
No, it's like Apple Fluttershy. It's a Fluttershy voice pack.
Sure is.
This is so weird. My dog's following me around with their butts on the ground.
That does seem a little bizarre.
Sorry, that page is missing.
Hmm.
I'm a vampire pony with a Footlong Skalong.
Huh. Oh, they have two different characters. That's neat. Please take a few moments, read the About page or using the tool. What about?
Unfortunately, Maya doesn't pronounce words all that well.
Wow, twice.
Oh,
Those are getting really good. I'm very impressed. It said the opportunities for mischief are clearly extraordinary.
all right. I read the About.
Did it have
Wow,
anything
it
interesting
actually
to
can
say?
tell whether or not you've read About page. That's neat.
Dear Princess Celestia, please bend me over your throne and pound me silly.
Yeah, we're going to get used to this.
Yeah.
Only
takes
thing I don't
effort
know
to
is
render it.
who's actually doing it. I'm probably going to be the last to know who's actually typing these things. But I don't really need to know.
It's not me. I don't have stuff set up in a way that I can capture a desktop audio as a. No, doggo, stop standing in the way of my. Well,
Turner has access to secret equestrian technology.
down we go. I have now made a high area for viewing things from my base.
Yay. Oh, China
So-
left the game. Oh, China left some food. Oh, like 8 minutes, 7 minutes ago, when I just realized I'm so awake. Right?
Yeah,
bad.
Shauna headed to bed, and oh, it is nighttime. If anybody wishes, I will go and pass the evening and sleep. There we go. I got this cute little skylight in the middle of this enormous dark place. It makes the large bright area on the floor, and you can tell the difference between the glowstone light and the daylight, which is kind of cool.
I can do scarier voices too.
I don't recognize that one. Perhaps I should.
Unfortunately, doing voices that way takes much longer, as it has to process.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah. Dogs don't stay where they're told anymore.
I'm glad it's the eye from Portal.
Oh, fair enough. That the one I didn't recognize? That is a pretty epically good game. It's just not one that I've spent a lot of time on.
And this is apparently the 10th Doctor.
Oh. That voice stuff is very impressive, I must say. Is it, like machine learning kind of thing? The deepfake stuff? But with ponies and doctors and things? It's pretty neat. If that gets good enough, that means that I can do the dramatic reading of Trixieverse and have the characters saying their own lines. That would be pretty epic. I'm sure if it's not available right now, it will be available eventually. One day it will be a technology that comes to pass.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
Yes, if you feed the neural net enough clean samples of tractor speaking, you can make them say anything.
As long as you know what you're doing, because you just said
Yeah.
tractors. Oh, Twilight. Okay, this is tight as hell. I like this. Mind you, I can't see very much other than a view of the sea, but that, I guess, is the point.
I learned to speak from reading. What do you expect?
Fair enough. Okay, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this day's work, although... So is this actually good or not? Be easy enough to straighten out, perhaps not for today. I've just realized that all of these decks that I've been building are likely exactly one block too tall, because there's a way that I can make them look, which is really pretty awesome, that I'm not doing with these ones. I'm only doing it with the very top one. Might as well come down here and pick up some of these spare planks, of which there are apparently lots. It's like having chisels and bits. You wind up just having all of these little scattered crap. Yeah, see, those ones, the ledge, you step down from the plank to do it, but this one, it's the same height, but you step up, so there's a little more, well, there's all the headroom in the world for these ones. But then you can step up onto the edge, and the way that it's done, the look of it is kind of better. With these ones, you step down, and the whole way I've arranged it is a little different. Consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I should get rid of some of these trees. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Basically trying to put away random crap. All of my chests full. Clearly I'm going to need to make a storage space in here somewhere. Maybe a big old picture window. Let in some light over there. For now, though, guys, it's getting on towards 9:30.
Time for sleep.
Yep. I will catch you guys later. And it is definitely time for me to sleep. So, he says, clicking on the bed as if that was what I was talking about. No, no, no. So I'll do is yeet myself over to this area where I can look out on a nice little vista. And with that, since we are about done with this evening, we'll catch you all next week. I'll be doing my plugins and music jams, and then catching up with the Minecraft thing. And as always, anybody can join us, whether or not you sound like Fluttershy.
Good night, chat.
Yep. Good night, chat.
Good night, everybody. So,